let me ask you something. When you set the price for your product, is it a strategic decision or is it kind of just a gut feeling? So many of us overlook this, but pricing isn't just some task for the accounting department. It's one of the most powerful strategic tools you have. Get it right, you win. Get it wrong, and even an amazing product can crash and burn.
So, to make sure we get this right, we're going to walk through a 5-step playbook together. We'll start with what a price really means. Then we'll map out your playing field, pick a winning strategy, make sure the numbers actually work, and finally, we'll get into the most important part, the human element.
All right, first things first. We have to understand the core idea here. Your price, it's this critical dividing line. It's what separates the value you give to your customers from the profit you keep for your business. It is the ultimate balancing act. But hold on, before you can even think about setting a price, you have to create value in the first place. I want you to think of this like a pie. The size of the whole pie is the gap between what your product is worth to a customer and what it costs you to make. The bigger that gap, the more pie there is for everyone to share. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Price isn't just a number. It's the knife that slices that pie. See, any value that's above your price point, that becomes the customer's slice, their surplus. It's the great deal they feel they got. Everything below the price, but above your cost, that's your slice, your profit. Your entire job is to place that knife in the absolute perfect spot. And let me tell you, the stakes for getting that slice wrong are incredibly high. You set the price too high, the customer feels like their slice is too small, and they just won't buy. But if you set it too low, your slice is so thin, you can't even stay in business. Both paths lead to the exact same place, failure. So, how do you avoid those traps? Well, you start by defining your playing field. A good price doesn't just appear out of thin air. It exists inside a logical range, a range that's defined by a hard ceiling above and a hard floor below. Your ideal price lives somewhere between these 2 points. The ceiling, that's set by the market. What's your customer's next best alternative? The floor, on the other hand, is set by your costs. What's the absolute rock bottom price you can charge without actually losing money on that sale?
And let's be really clear about that price floor. We are not talking about all your costs, like rents and salaries. We're talking about your marginal cost, the direct cost to make just one more widget or serve one more client. If you sell below this number, you are literally paying customers to take your product away.
Finding the ceiling is a bit more of an art. You start with the price of whatever your competitor is offering, the thing your customer would buy if you didn't exist. Then you logically add the dollar value of everything you do better. And you have to be honest and subtract the value of anything they do better. What's left is a logical, totally defensible maximum price. Okay, so we've mapped the playing field. We know our floor, we know our ceiling. Now it's time to decide on our game plan. And generally speaking, there are 3 core strategies you can choose from inside that range. First up, there's skimming. This is all about setting your price right up near that ceiling. You're targeting the customers who are willing to pay a premium for the best of the best. Think supercars, right? They don't sell many, but the profit on each one is huge. This only works if your product has a really clear, powerful advantage that people will happily pay more for. The total opposite of that is penetration. Here, you're setting your price down near the floor because you want to grab as much market share as you can as fast as you can. It's a high-volume, low-margin game. You usually need some kind of cost advantage to pull this off, or you use a loss leader, kind of like a buffet offering cheap shrimp tempura just to get you in the door to buy the high-margin drinks. And finally, there's the neutral strategy, right in the middle. Now, this isn't about being lazy. It's about being smart. You basically peg your price to the competition, and then you adjust it a little bit up or down based on your features. If you're a little better, you charge a little more. With this strategy, you're choosing to compete on things other than just price. Look, a strategy without numbers is just a wish. Now that you have a direction, you have to ground it in reality. So let's look at the key calculations that turn your strategy into a plan that can actually make you money. The first most critical number you have to know is your break-even point. This is the exact number of units you need to sell at your chosen price just to cover all your costs. This isn't about profit yet. This is about pure survival. You have to know this number. But we're not just trying to survive, right? We want to thrive, and the market changes. So let's ask a really practical question. Let's say you drop your price by just 5% to get more competitive. How many more units do you have to sell just to make the exact same amount of profit as before?
The answer is often way, way higher than you'd think.
This is where a cool tool like the constant profit curve comes in. It helps you run all these what-if scenarios without just guessing. It literally shows you the trade-off between your price and the volume you need to sell, so you can see how a small change might have a huge impact on your profit. It's about making proactive decisions, not reactive ones.
Okay, but numbers only tell half the story. After all the science of pricing comes the art. And this final piece of the puzzle is, you could argue, the most important of all, understanding the psychology of your customer. Your best source for this real-world intel? Your sales team. They are on the front lines every single day. They hear how customers react. They see what competitors are doing. But, and this is a big but, you have to be aware that their main goal is to make a sale, and an easier sale often means a lower price. You have to take their amazing feedback and balance it with your company's profit goals.
And all of this leads to the ultimate technique, empathy. For a moment, stop being the seller and actually put yourself in your customer's shoes. Stare at your own price tag. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel hopeful, like you're getting a great deal? Does it feel discouraging, like it's out of reach? Or does it feel kind of cheap, making you suspicious of the quality?
Here's a perfect real-world example. A new car brand launched in Thailand, and the first buyers were super excited. But just a few months later, the company dropped the price significantly. And what happened? Those first, most loyal customers, they felt cheated. They felt like they'd lost money. And that feeling absolutely destroyed brand trust, because now everyone was afraid the price would just drop again. So, at the end of the day, after all the spreadsheets and all the strategies, the final gut check is a simple one. A price is never just a number, it's a message. It's a signal that you send directly to your customer's brain and to their heart. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what message is yours sending?